Good morning, class. I'm so glad to see you again today. We are doing Fundamentals of Design, and this is going to be a really fun one called Contrast. So what you're going to need would be, as usual, pencil eraser, ruler, Sharpie markers, and some colored pencils. If you're in class with me, I can give you the copies and that you're going to draw on, and you can use my stuff. If you are not in class for some reason, I hope you're well, but you'll need to run by the school and get the copies, which are in the cabinet outside 217. All right, let's talk about contrast. You pull this up on bright space. Can I speak? Okay, then we're going to read that. Here's assignment 1, assignment 2. There's assignment 3, super fun. And assignment 4, whoop, whoop, whoop. Gonna be great. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna put these back in order, and we will talk about contrast very quickly. I know you can read, but I'm gonna read it for you, and you can just follow along with me. Contrast is when two elements of a design that are presented in opposite ways. Generally, the items or elements in contrast are placed near each other so that the contrast is obvious as possible. This isn't something we often shy away from because our eyes naturally like contrast. Contrast is exciting and dramatic and naturally aesthetically pleasing. It creates something we enjoy looking at, so contrast is frequently used in graphic design. Now let's think about it. If something is monochromatic, it's hard to get drama and excitement. So contrast is a really easy way to get that wonderful, aesthetic, pleasing visual thing. So when used correctly, contrast can do a number of things. For one, it creates a focal point or a spot in which your eye is naturally drawn. Contrasts are not equals. Generally, one element becomes more immediately visible than its contrasted opposite, giving it more visual weight and attracting the eye. Because of its ability to create visual hierarchies, contrast can also be used to produce a sense of balance and harmony, ensuring that items of various degrees of visual weight are distributed in a pleasing way across the page or screen. Contrast in graphic design. All artists use contrast to create focal points and visual balance. This is common in painting, sculpture, and even in architecture. However, there are some values of contrast unique to graphic design. For one, graphic designers often need to be direct. While a painting may present complex themes that take a while to absorb, graphic designers generally need to send a clear message as quickly as possible. Contrast creates a strong focal point, so it can be useful in this sense. Does all the text in an ad need to carry the same visual weight? At the same time, contrast can help organize information, both visual and textual. Do you need your audience to read all the text in a design right away? No, you need to capture their attention and present the most important concepts. Contrast can be used to organize textual information in a way that makes the immediate message clear to the audience while still providing space for the details. All right, now that was a lot said. You can go over that again, stop every sentence or two, think to yourself, what in the world does that say and mean? And try to think it over, but you're going to get it once we go through all of the assignments. And so remember, this is about contrast, and so all of that wordiness, you're going to understand it, it'll just be in you and go, huh, now I get it. Okay, so we will start with our assignments. Okay, so this is assignment number 1. In the space below, draw this image in contrast method using your choice of 2 complementary colors. So orange and blue are complementary. Here's the little color wheel. If you have a color wheel, that would be great. You can look at these also. Complementary means directly across. So, okay, so that's how it works. So you can choose whatever your 2 favorite opposites are. And I want you to be specific, so it really needs to be that yellow and that purple, or this red and green. This is well, you know what? How about how about not? You can go right here. This is the pure hue. Remember, we studied hue. This is a pure hue, and then you get the tint or the shade. Remember, if you had black or white, we talked about that. I'm going to let you go ahead and do that too. So it doesn't have to be the pure hue, okay? All right, so what I want you to do, since this is not an observational drawing class, I want you to go ahead and use this, draw it as best you can. You can tell that only the faces are a little bit of the details, so it's not going to take that much time. But you're going to also see that from the corners, we've already talked about shading and with our colored pencils. If you press too hard, it gets waxy and you can't shade. So you're going to probably try to lighten up on your hand, except maybe in the corners up here where you're going to get some real vibrant shades, and a little bit here in the hair. So it'll be exciting. We can all look at each other's in class, and so you're going to mix. You're going to start mixing, okay? And so you're going to need to go to bright space to actually look at that color, because my copies are only in black and white. And so right in here, this is just going to be wonderful. A lot of this tint and shade that we talked about last week. So I can't wait to see what you wind up doing. I hope you take it to heart and do a very, very good job. This is assignment number 2. What is this week all about? Contrast. So when you did the colors, you're doing color contrast. This one is going to be size contrast. So if you can look here with me, you're going to notice that these letters go down in size. So the contrast is size. Little feet, big feet, so contrast is size. You got the wrench and the nut, contrast is size. And then you've got this character, very large, very small, that's a contrast in size. So in the rectangle below, draw an image using the size contrast to show what you want the viewer to focus on. You can use your cell phones to find inspirational images, but the final piece must be of your own creation, and the drawing must be finished and good. So notice this, don't do that. It needs to be a real picture. So I know a lot of you like characters, some of you are in photography or whatever. I want to be able to see that you made the image yourself and that you didn't trace it off of something, but it needs to be in color. See, the color is even a difference here. There's like the brown and the cool color. So then the contrast of the highlight and the dark down here. So it needs to be a nice composition when you're finished. And I can't wait to see what you do. Okay, this is assignment 3. So it's going to be contrast in shapes. So in the rectangle below, which is basically the next page right there, draw contrast, geometric, and organic shapes to create a design. Be creative, complex, and inventive. Finish in colored pencil and black ink. And you know how to do all of that because we've done that for several weeks now. So here we go. This would be just doing geometric. This has, see the circle, the triangle, diamond. I don't see a square, but anyway, yep, there's a square. So this is geometric and organic. So that's what you're going to be doing in here, and then you color it in any which way you want to, and that is going to be such a blast. So what you need to do is use these shapes. Sometimes I tell you have to use every shape, but I'm not going to say that this time. I just want you to do a pleasing design, and we've talked about that a bunch too, which is if you don't, no one wants to look at the design, then it's not a good design. So this is called Fundamentals of Design Contrast, and it's necessary that when this is finished that people want to go, I like that, I want to look at that for a while. So you can use the black ink for lines, you can use the colored, you can use your pencil really waxy, or you can blend your colors. It's up to you, but I do want this to be a very beautiful piece when you're finished. Last but not least, this is going to be such a blast. Oh, this is so fun. Contrast. Number 4, typography. In the rectangle below, use contrast of color, which is opposite, right? Complementary on the color wheel, remember that. Large and small, shape, geometric and organic, and typography in combination with graffiti style, giving important importance to your main point of view. I'm reading this upside down for this piece. You may use your cell phones to look for typography. So looking for fonts and typography is very cool, but you have to figure out how you're going to lay out your graffiti style with contrast of what? Contrast of color, contrast of size, and contrast of shape and typography. So this is kind of your big finale moment. This is surrounded in black. This is surrounded in white. This has a little bit of a background. This is totally in your face. This you can read. This you really can't read. You can see images in there though. So this is going to be a really fun one. And just go to town with this one. It's going to be wonderful. Can't wait to see what you do. So I hope you have a wonderful and creative week. God bless you guys.